I really love it when you see some of these white folks coming to say this thing that you guys are about to listen. Oh, then I realize right now that he walked away. He never kept his promises. I remember all this while where a lot of even immigrants, even people like Mexican, Asians, Latinos, were Halloween worshiping and making sure that black people are the bad person. So now a lot of them are realizing that how they wish they listened to black Americans. If you are watching, let me know where you're watching from. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credit to belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. With that being said, let's watch. I'll be back with commentaries.
He promised us cheap gas, affordable groceries, affordable housing, affordable energy costs. He made affordability a central pillar of his election campaign. He also told us that if we elected Kamala Harris, she would take us into more forever wars in the Middle East. Everything this man promised us, every single thing he promised us, was a lie.
This is strike three. I supported him. I defended him. I even told people early on, trust the process. I was wrong. This right here is strike three, but I'll come back to that in a minute. First, it was the Epstein files. We were promised transparency. Then suddenly they disappeared, and anyone still asking questions is told, stop following me as the president. That's not accountability. That's silencing your own supporters. Then Iran, and don't get me wrong, Iran has been yelling death to America for decades. They've sponsored more terrorism and proxy groups than anyone else. They were directly involved, especially with a lot of the parts and materials for bombs, with a lot of American soldiers getting catastrophically injured and taken out in Iraq and Afghanistan. You could have just told us Iran was evil and that we weren't gonna placate them anymore. But you had to spin it. You had to throw the propaganda. We were told their nuclear capabilities were completely destroyed after dropping a series of bunker busters. But then, all of a sudden, they're close to a nuke again, and here we are at war. Which one is it? Spin after spin. The story changed multiple times. I watched it all in real time. The propaganda was beyond obvious. Do they think we're that stupid? Clearly they do, because if you disagree, you're called a low IQ person. And now this image, posting a picture of yourself as Jesus, then deleting it and saying you were supposed to be a doctor in that photo. Again, stop lying to us. You messed up badly. Be a man and own it. This is the problem. Post something completely outrageous. There's a big reaction, then you delete it, then you spin it. That's not leadership. I hate to say it. That's manipulation. I did believe drain the swamp. It never happened. I believed in accountability and it was coming. It never happened. I believe things would be different, and they are different in a lot of ways that I really love, but not for the most important ones. My priorities are simple: God, family, country, faith, morality, values, and truth. Those come before any man, before any party. This is how great nations fail. When people stop questioning, when loyalty replaces principles, that's when countries fail. Because history shows it comes when leaders and institutions lose all credibility. We already went through that crap with Obama and Biden. I supported him, and I was wrong. He has a lot of damage to undo, and I really hope he does. There's only one that we can rely on, and that's Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. So if you're okay with burying the Epstein truths, letting victims never see their abusers pay the price, at the end, a man depicting himself as Jesus, I don't know what to tell you except if you meet Jesus in the end, the only words he's going to say to you will be, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
Watch this MAGA fan rage and completely abandon Donald Trump over his tariffs being deemed unconstitutional by the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court has ruled that Trump's tariffs are unconstitutional. Golden Age update, guys. We've got nothing. We might have to pay back $150 billion to other countries and nations and businesses. Meanwhile, the American people have been screwed this entire time as prices have went up on the tariffs, and now it's been ruled unconstitutional. Well, we may be having to pay it back. This administration's a joke. It's over. This administration is an absolute travesty. We've got nothing. No mass deportations. We've got no actual release of the Epstein files. So many more to go. We have no tariffs. They're unconstitutional now. So everything you voted for is a complete lie.
Man, I love when I come across videos like this. MAGA fans finally realizing the truth, that Donald Trump is a complete fraud, a total failure, and he's backtracking on all of the promises he made to them. I gotta be honest, I don't know why this thing in particular is the one that pushed him over the edge as opposed to Donald Trump's many other scandals or failures, but he's not happy. Trump's term has been a complete disaster. His fans are even admitting it, and I expect to see more videos like this as his term goes on.
There are white people going viral right now for their regret over voting for Donald Trump. And I put that word into heavy quotation marks because I genuinely question if they even know what the word regret means. One woman in particular got on TikTok crying a whole theatrical production about how people are not greeting her with open arms, how they're being mean to her in her comment section. Lady, are you fucking for real? Somehow you are the victim, not the millions of people harmed by the very system that you voted to prop up not once, not twice, but 3 fucking times. Not the immigrants who lost their family members to deportation or concentration camps. Not the communities of color who have been terrorized by the very policies that you voted to enable. You're the victim because people were mean to you in your comment section. And this tells me everything I need to know about your regret. You're not sorry, you're uncomfortable, and you're confusing the two. You claim that you're doing the work, yet at the first sign that that work becomes difficult, you make videos crying to garner sympathy for yourself. So the emotional labor falls on everyone else again. And then to make it worse, there's a whole slew of people in her comment sections coddling her. Oh, you're such a good girl because you realize that you made a mistake by voting for him 3 times. It's so brave of you to speak up. Then, some of you have the fucking audacity to police how other people respond to this video. Specifically, the people that MAGA spent years targeting. People of color, the LGBTQ community, immigrants. You want them to welcome ex-MAGA with open arms. You want them to perform forgiveness for your comfort. The people that we should all have sympathy for are the ones who have been harmed, not the ones who do the harming and are now sad because everyone remembers. But here's the part that really gets me. Same crying video. She said she won't be voting in future elections. So instead of working to dismantle the oppressive system that you helped build, your solution is to throw your hands up and do nothing but cry online. That is not remorse. That is not doing the work. That's pandering for likes and comments to appease your praise kink. That's demanding forgiveness without actually earning it. Look, if people want to coddle ex-MAGA voters, that's your prerogative. Nobody can stop you for handing out participation trophies. But if you are an alleged regretful MAGA, do not expect anyone to forgive you. Do not expect a warm welcome. Do not expect marginalized communities to throw you a fucking parade. Do the fucking difficult work. Sit with your discomfort. Sit with the fact that people are rightfully angry at you. And sit with the fact that your regret doesn't undo any of the damage that you caused. The only way you will maybe, and that's a big if, be welcomed back into a society that is rightfully skeptical of you is if you spend the rest of your life proving that you are worth redemption. That means voting for progressive candidates who actually want to help people. That means showing up to protests. That means putting your fucking body on the line. That means doing the hard work even when nobody is clapping for you. Otherwise, save your fucking tears and go cry about it in your journal.
This is how it went.
No, you can stay there, and I'm sure you will find.
Very happy and excited that Trump won. As far as financially, obviously nothing's really changed. We're still under the Biden administration. But I know that it is coming,
And this is how it's going.
so I admit I regret my vote for Donald Trump. I regret it because I needed these changes sooner. I needed the prices to go down sooner so that I didn't drain out my bank account.
Yeah, you regret your vote. And you know what? You're saying that you regret your vote. You're on video here crying your eyes out because you learned the hard way that Donald Trump does not mean lower prices for you. He again stated over and over and over again that he was going to do blanket tariffs. We told you he was going to raise prices. You guys said, no, we don't know what we're talking about. Experts who've studied this for 10 plus years now, they just don't know. And now you're suffering the consequences of raising prices in a shitty economy. And you're begging for money on here with a GoFundMe, which is, fine, except you're trying to use the I regret my vote trope for money, right? So I'm looking down at your caption here, and you literally have it stated that you don't regret your vote. But then you go on to use a bunch of hashtags saying I regret my vote, that you regret your vote. And I know what you're doing here, right? The MAGA family that you decided to be a part of won't donate to your GoFundMe, probably because they look at the color of your hair and immediately judge you, or I don't know. It's MAGA. They're probably struggling, to be honest. So you decided to try to ride off the I regret my vote algorithm and get your video out to the liberals, which I'm guessing you assume might have money. But we're in the same boat as you, right? Because you guys decided to vote for the orange and now we're all getting to suffer. So you strap in. You know what I mean? What is it? This is what you voted for. There's another one. If you're going to sink the ship, we're all going to go down together. I don't know. Anyways, my name is Mercedes Chandler. Give me a follow. You want to see my face again? Thank you.
Let's talk about the Trump supporters that are losing their jobs. Last night, I was out in Chicago, and these three guys started talking to me, and they were all from Naperville. And they asked what I did for work, and I said, I make educational content. And the guy was like, are you one of those, liberals? Are you one of those, lefties? And he was so serious. He just continued to, mock me and make fun of my content. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave this conversation. And he goes, yeah, it's because of you guys that my mom just lost her job. And I was intrigued. I was like, why did your mom lose her job? What did she do for work? And he goes, well, she was in the military. She's a veteran, but then she was working at this office for the last few years and they just let her go. I look him dead in the face. I'm like, do you think your mom was a DEI hire? Because veterans are a protected class. And now that they don't have to hire her anymore, then they let her go. He goes, that's so true. He doesn't believe me. He looks it up and just the color just drains from his face. And the guy with him was a research assistant after just graduating from university. And his position was just terminated because of lack of federal funding from the federal government. Which is thanks to fucking Trump. So newsflash, DEI doesn't just mean black people. So in fact, what's happening on a federal level is going to affect you too. You aren't special just because you're white. Karma's getting them. Okay, bye.
Okay, since no one's going to say it, I'm going to say it. Let's just call it what it is. This Trump administration isn't some showcase of brilliance or strategy or moral authority. It is a showcase of white mediocrity. Broadcast for the entire world to see. If you think about it, they scream about being the greatest. They scream about being the smartest, the most patriotic. But when the spotlight hits them, what do we see? Corruption, incompetence, lies stacked on top of lies. A government so insecure it has to redraw maps, it has to silence voters, it has to attack its own citizens just to hold on to power. And the world is watching. Countries overseas are looking at America, shaking their heads saying, this is America? This is what we were told was the standard for democracy? Because for centuries, whiteness carried itself alongside synonymous with excellence, while dismissing black and brown excellence as inferior. But Trump's administration has blown that myth to pieces because globally, people see it now. Whiteness in power doesn't guarantee wisdom. It doesn't guarantee justice. It doesn't even guarantee competence. All it guarantees is access. Access. Handed down through a rigged system that protects mediocrity as long as it wears the right skin. So let's be clear, this ain't about every white person, but it is about the fact that Trump has exposed the truth, that the old story of white superiority was never superiority at all. It was all smoke and mirrors, and now the smoke has cleared. So what comes next, right? If America wants respect on the world stage again, it won't come through Trump. It won't come through clinging to whiteness. It will come through honesty, justice, and multiracial democracy that values talent, not skin. Because the global stage just learned what we've always known. When you strip away the privilege, white mediocrity can't hold a candle to black excellence.
Y'all want to know what angers me? A poll was just recently released that highlighted Americans now view Joe Biden as a better president than Donald Trump. That Joe Biden did a better job than what Donald Trump is currently doing. And why that just upsets me to the highest degree is because we, as the American people, have got to start seeing clearly when it matters the most. Not after the fact, not after a decision has been made. Because I've watched countless people lambast about how they couldn't relate to Kamala, but you knew who Donald Trump was. Joe Biden was too old, but you knew his character. And you knew Donald Trump's character. And you still voted for Donald Trump. Or you chose to sit out the election to prove what point I'm still trying to understand. But here we are, a year and some change later, far worse than where we were back in 2024. We now have federal agencies killing American people. We have the innocent being deported and snatched up, who their only crime, I guess, is crossing the border illegally, but other than that, have been productive citizens of this nation. We got 5-year-olds being detained by ICE. The president putting tariffs on everybody, the rule of law being completely disregarded, and now we've finally come to our senses? It's too late.
Trump represents white safety. He makes white people feel like he's going to protect them from all the others. Unfortunately, true. I naively thought there was no way in hell he was ever going to make it back into office again. I thought that we had largely turned a corner in this country where it was not that bad. But what I learned here is that we should never underestimate the power of fear. Because that is exactly how the right, especially Trump, motivates people, through fear. And sadly, it's been that way as long as I can remember. I used to live in East Texas, and I had this fishing buddy that I used to go out to his place, and we would fish and just shoot the shit about anything. One day, out of nowhere, he told me this story about this cabin that his family owns that they are all going to retreat to one day whenever the black people take over and try and enslave the white people. Because that's what his family taught him over time, that black people were eventually going to outbreed us, and then they were going to want to get some payback. And I started laughing at this, thinking he's just fucking with me. But then his face turned bright red, and he's like, I'm being serious. He said, you might think it's funny now, but you won't think it's so funny whenever they've got you working the fields. Which only got me laughing harder, and it made him even madder. Keep in mind, this is supposed to be a fishing trip where we're supposed to be quiet and just fishing and relaxing. But he was so mad. He had this whole story built up in his head, and he's been worried about it for a long time. And I thought surely people like this could not be the norm in this country. But if you have somebody who is running for office who is feeding into that fear that you already have, that makes it all the more powerful. He tells them things like, transgender illegals are streaming across our open borders, trying to break into our homes and take them over and jiggle their genitals in our faces. And the majority of the people that voted for him were uneducated people that were about this tone. So they hear all this nonsense and they're like, well, that's gotta be true, because why else would he say it? He's just saying what I always thought would happen. And that fear turns into anger, that anger turns into hate, and then all of a sudden they're out voting because they're so full of hatred. But they'll tell you it's not hatred. They'll say that they're voting out of love. But not a love of all people, just the people that they think that this country is their birthright. So when Trump comes along and says, I alone can fix this, they're like, oh shit. They've definitely got to vote for the only guy who can fix this, because this absolutely needs to be fixed. This problem that only exists in their minds. And the only way to fix this is education, but they even think that that's toxic, because the right has taught them that education is indoctrination. So they don't want to get too educated, because that might turn them into a liberal, which will make them want to give the country away to people who don't look like them. I don't know, man. I think the only thing that can save us now is if we have another pandemic come through that they don't trust and they just do the opposite of, and it just wipes them out. I just can't see reversing 40 to 50 years of dumbing down in this country. These people are completely brainwashed. But maybe I'm wrong. I really hope that I am.
Hey, y'all. So they finally said it out loud on camera with their whole chest. Alabama's House Speaker Nathaniel Ledbetter stood in front of the press after his state passed a redistricting bill and said, and I quote, "I certainly hope the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14," end quote. I need you to understand what he means. You see, the 14th Amendment is not a technicality. It's not a redistricting footnote. It's the amendment that made black people citizens of this country after 250 years of enslavement, ratified in 1868, written in blood. It says you are a citizen. It says you have equal protections under the law. It says no state can strip your rights without due process. It is the legal spine of every civil rights victory we have ever won. And Ledbetter hopes the Supreme Court throws it in the trash. That's not a redistricting argument, ladies and gentlemen. That's a declaration. See, they're not hiding under their white hoods and robes anymore. They are not dog whistling. They are standing at a podium saying, "We want the amendment that made you citizens gone." This is happening right now in real time, 2026. And the only thing they're afraid of, the only reason they want to erase that amendment is because they know what we do when we show up. So show up. And remind every black and brown person that voted for this. Jim Crow had a hood. This version has a law degree and a press conference.
We just want our country back. We're sorry, America.
He's done.
What
did I get for him?
Sir, why did you come here today wearing that MAGA shirt? I voted for him.
Yeah, I voted for Trump. Twice, actually. Thought he was going to drain the swamp and make America great again.
Sorry, America! Sorry, America! We were wrong!
We believed the lies!
We paid the price!
We paid the price!
It is a great privilege that right now a lot of them that sang "I will vote, vote Donald Trump, I will vote, vote Donald Trump," are now understanding when black Americans were talking to them. A lot of them are now saying, honestly, you see that period of Joe Biden and the period of Obama, it was just the best thing that has literally happened to us. A lot of them are now saying, why didn't we, in our own sense, vote Kamala Harris? Because instead of this man to be looking at the issues and all the promises he made to us, all the things he told us, how he campaigned, how he rallied around and made us believe that he was literally going to stand for us, he has walked away. He has left us. He has literally deceived us. And honestly, I really love it when a lot of white folks are seeing all of the promises and feel that is coming with them folks. And you know, the sweetest part is they will never understand the system of America except only black Americans that can make them understand that. So that is why when I see things like this, I laugh, I smile, I clap, and I be like, yes, this is absolutely what these people deserve. A lot of them are losing their farm. You can imagine them thinking that a black person will come and work on their farm. How the hell, what the audacity that you have to sit down and think that black people are coming to work on your farm, like on your farm. What happened to all of the white folks? Now, a lot of them are seeing that the only thing that is making them to survive, this man has literally taken them away. Now, to shock you guys and to bust your bubbles, China just released free imports and exports into their country just because they want the market, their buying and selling market to skyrocket. And this literally happened the moment China saw that the President Donald Trump is increasing tariffs east, west, north, and south. Even when the House have sat down to rule against it, China was fast enough to understand the assignment. And what they did, they made every of their importation and exportation to in and out of China free. So a lot of people that are even trading with Americans right now are diverting to China to make it sweet. A lot of African countries right now have China as the people that there we go trade with. Why? Just because one person decided to sit down and destroy every single thing that was important. And you know what is the most important thing about this person? The most important thing is how he can build his ballroom. The most important thing is how he can start the World War III. The most important thing is always telling the NATO's allies and other allies to literally stand by him in fighting what it is not his business. So, for the white folks that voted, they never listened to black people. They never understood the part where black people were talking from. I wish you guys congratulations, and I am so happy for you guys. A lot of you right now are seeing the wake up call and every single thing that black Americans have once said. A lot of them right now are not saying, "Oh, we wish we listened to black American. We wish we read the history properly. We wish we saw the handwriting on the wall." A lot of them are melting down. A lot of them are crashing out. A lot of them are regretting biting their fingers in pains. And you know what? This man literally do not care. When this man wanted to do his campaign, he was making sure that they saw the good parts in him. I don't know how long it will take a lot of people to understand what the politics is, especially when it comes to white man politics. You think it is literally going to affect just black people alone? When this man wants to whoop everybody's ass, he is going to join you. He's not going to exclude you. From this man tenor, we have seen the worst thing that we haven't seen in decades, in centuries. From this man tenor, a lot of people cannot afford living. A lot of people cannot eat. A lot of people cannot even breathe properly. A lot of people now are now using their car as homes. They are now seeking for asylums, and it's just a whole lot. A lot of people are on the streets begging. A lot of people are just doing it. In fact, a lot of people to this point right now wants to leave America with every possible means. They don't even mind if they're going to any other African country. Just why? Because one person have decided to crash down every single thing that people have built for years, that black Americans have built for years. So if you really want to understand the system and how the politics of Americans work, you need to listen to black people. The earlier these white folks start listening to black people, the better for each and every one of us. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be seeing back now. See you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.